There's no experience quite like cutting your own live Christmas tree out of your neighbor's yard, said humor writer Dan Florence in Zombies Love Pizza. Well, that's not something you can easily do in New York City. But visiting one of these stands to get your tree can be a good replacement. The Friday night after Thanksgiving is when all these little forests pop up around the city. Camping on the streets and sidewalks, these tree sellers spend cold nights manning the trees and taking turns to sleep in a trailer. They work 24/7 throughout the month until Christmas Eve. This spot on 8th Avenue and Jane Street has hosted one tree selling family for close to 3 decades. Billy Romp started selling trees here in 1988 on a friend's suggestion. He loved it so much the first time that year after year he's brought his family back.
It's a great time of year to be in New York City. Better than August when it's so hot. Better than January when it's so snowy. December's the best time, everybody's happy. And because I love children and I love people, this is one of the greatest jobs I could have. Christmas trees, everybody's smiling.
Romp's daughter Ellie sold her first Christmas tree here when she was a little more than a year old.
I've been coming down here to sell Christmas trees my entire life, 28 years. I was 18 months old the first time we came down here.
Now she manages her own stand in Brooklyn. Ellie regularly stops by her dad's place to get some coffee and advice from the master salesman.
At some point during the sale, the price comes up, and if the price is way higher than what they're wanting, I bring them down to my trees that aren't quite so premium and nice, and I show them something that's like kind of Charlie Brown style, and tell them, all right, well, here's what you can get for that price. And almost every time they say, we'll go with the nice one, never mind.
These 2 generations of tree sellers manage a stable in Vermont the rest of the year. But that's not necessarily where the trees come from. Romp's supplier buys evergreens from wherever the trees grow the fastest. It's mostly North Carolina.
We sell 2 kinds of trees here. In the old days, it was mostly balsam fir. That's the most fragrant, the most traditional tree. But as in tradition, it does leave a few needles on your rug throughout the season. Nowadays, most people prefer a Fraser fir. They're silvery underneath, dark green above, and they do not lose their needles.
As the evening nears, the stand starts to get busy. Billy gears up and gets the smaller trees fixed up in stands. Those are ready sellers. At $40 to $45 a pop, customers don't generally think twice about picking one up and carrying it home. With strings of lights hanging onto the wire at the top, his stand becomes a ready reminder of festivities around the corner. Billy greets everybody who passes by his stand and makes sure they get what they want. As night falls, once again the sidewalk starts to get quieter. But the trees are never left alone. One of his crew members keeps a vigil over the stand whole night, lest some New York neighbor gets the temptation to steal.